being filed from the ground. Thanks very much for joining us. It's been a big, big day. Remember, ever since India launched Operation Sindoor, Pakistan was going to try a misadventure. It had become amply clear. Yesterday, what they tried was thwarted, and they tried it yet again today. We struck at their terror infrastructure. We've told them we are going to do it again if you try and act smart. But clearly, Pakistan has not learned from any of its mistakes. Udhampur, Jammu, Akhnur, Pathankot, Arnia. These are the places which were attempted to be struck by Pakistan. There were a number of drone attacks all across the western border at several locations, the border that India shares with Pakistan, but every single one of them has been thwarted. Pakistan will live to regret the day when they tried to do this with India. What I can tell you, even as we speak, Home Minister Amit Shah is meeting the DG of CISF, of BSF, what is our security like at the border. All of that is being reviewed by the Home Minister. Earlier, there was a meeting that the Prime Minister held as well. 8 missiles from Pakistan that targeted India, and it is no coincidence the way in which this was done to Satwadi, Samba, Arispura, Arnia. These are all areas, Arnia, Arispura, Samba, which have seen ceasefire violations, but this time there was an attack or an attempted attack through drones, all of which was foiled. And the way in which this was done, it was reminiscent of the way in which Hamas has tried to attack Israel time and again. The rocket barrage, the drone attacks, cheap rockets being fired at India, and they have met the only fate they can hope for, which is in failure. Wing Commander Praful Bakshi, Lieutenant General Shivane, Air Marshal Diptendu Chaudhary, and we have Captain Alok Bansal all live with us. Gentlemen, thank you so much. You're keeping up at this late time at night. It's going to be Rat Jaga for all of us, I suppose, especially for our armed forces. A special word for all of our men in uniform in the Navy, Air Force and Army, and especially their families. Air Marshal Chaudhary, the way in which this was done, rocket clusters being fired at all the critical locations, especially in Jammu and Kashmir, focused on Jammu. What do you make of this modus operandi?
Frankly, Padmaja, this is nothing really original or, something spectacularly new. This is a game, a playbook which has already been unfolded in Ukraine. It's been in the skies of Ukraine. It's happened over Israel with Hamas carrying out attacks, Hezbollah carrying out attacks, rocket attacks, and as well as Iran carrying out the similar kind of attacks on Israel. So this is nothing new. Even Russia has carried out extensive missile and drone attack combinations. But there is a vast difference of the intensity of the attack and the accuracy and its outcomes. And that is what is important. What we are seeing are, copybook attacks, pretty unstructured, and what it appears to me, very frankly, it's more like I had mentioned earlier in the show, that these are attempts to create a continued sense of, try and create a sense of panic in India, try and saturate our air defense systems and keep it going, get us to expend our air defense weapon systems in a manner so that, we run out of, anti-aircraft systems, weapons. So but I think our air defense organization and the way we are dealing with it this time, we have vast experience in war fighting and training for this, which we do this throughout the year. So what you will find is that these drones are being targeted, and somebody mentioned earlier, the S-400 is taking down drones. I think that's a little far-fetched because the S-400 is a long-range system. It is just a part of a larger integrated air defense system, and the S-400 is the longest player. It can fire at the largest distances. There are medium-range SAMs, there are short-range SAMs, there are close-in weapon systems, there are shoulder-fire systems, there are other ways of jamming, deceiving, and decoying the threats which seem to be coming en masse. And at some point, I think Pakistan is also probably careful. It is expending this low-end systems to keep the whole system churning, and could well possibly be saving some of its high-end systems if the thing escalates. So I would like to bring in an iota of caution in all the excitement that's happening right now.
Absolutely. And in fact, the PRO defense in Jammu has made it very clear what exactly happened over the last few hours. I want to go across to Kabir very quickly so he can explain to us what are these areas. Look, there is a lot of misinformation that is being spread on social media, on WhatsApp. People are worried. They are calling each other. Everyone thinks that they are going to be bombed, that there are blackouts. But these are the exact areas where Pakistan attempted a misadventure. And let us underline again, defense sources have assured us, have told us that they were thwarted at every single step. The breaking news that we have right now, Jammu, Udhampur and Pathankot military stations were targeted and no damage was caused in the Pakistan attack. But can we please go back to the map so Kabir can quickly show to you what are these exact locations, and you do not have, nobody has need to panic because damage control has been done. Over to you, Kabir.
These are, of course, the locations that India has countered back at Padmaja at this point in time. You were talking about the PRO defense of Jammu. He says military stations in Jammu, Pathankot and Udhampur were targeted by the Pakistani origin drones and missiles along the international border. The threats were swiftly neutralized. That's the breaking development that we're bringing to all our viewers. There was no damage that was caused in these Pakistani attacks. He also goes on to show, and this is a corroborated statement on their social media handles, the threats were swiftly neutralized using kinetic and non-kinetic capabilities in line with established SOPs. No casualties or material losses were reported. Yet again, there is another failure of the Pakistani military prowess. They come with their cheap drones, but they all went down one by one. India remains fully prepared to defend its sovereignty and ensure the safety of its people. So yet again, kudos to our brave men in uniform and women in uniform as well.
Absolutely. They are up at night. There is no need to worry. But Captain Alok Bansal, help me understand, where exactly does Pakistan think they are going to go with this? They tried it yesterday. They did not succeed. They paid the price for it. There were multiple strikes that India carried out across several locations, including in Bahawalpur, in Rawalpindi. A stadium was struck in Rawalpindi, the place where their general headquarters is. And now they've decided to make things worse for themselves. Where do they think they're going with this?
See, Pakistan army knows they don't have the military wherewithal or the economic wherewithal to take on India. But at the same time, their preponderance or their dominance of the body politic in Pakistan ensures that they have to show to their people that they're doing something. And that's why they are taking actions which people can see, firing missiles which overfly the audience, the public sees, firing artillery shells. But they don't have the caliber. And that's where they are probably hoping that the international community will come and intervene and bring it to a closure. And that's why they're either talking about nuclear offense or nuclear conflict, or at the other times they're targeting civilian population. Their whole purpose is that somehow India agrees for a ceasefire and stops this conflagration. So that is the problem. Pakistan army, while realizing their weakness, also cannot show in front of the public that they are not able to stand up, because they have always projected themselves as the savior of the nation, both ideological as well as territorial. And having created that sort of an aura and having garnered most of the country's resources, they find themselves in a predicament where they cannot be seen bucking down. So they have to project something. That's what they're trying to do.
All right, we've got a statement from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Pakistan where they have said that the government of Pakistan categorically rejects the baseless and irresponsible allegations propagated by the Indian media accusing Pakistan of launching attacks on Pathankot, Jaisalmer and Srinagar. These claims are entirely unfounded, politically motivated and part of a reckless propaganda campaign aimed at maligning Pakistan. The repeated pattern of leveling accusations against Pakistan without any credible investigation reflects a deliberate strategy to manufacture a pretext. Okay, this is really, really strange. It's almost as if they are in complete denial. There have been at least 8 to 9 places across the western border. It beggars the imagination. I really want you to listen to this gentleman, General Shivane. Help me make sense of this. They're saying the repeated pattern of leveling accusations against Pakistan without any credible investigation reflects a strategy to manufacture a pretext for aggression and to further destabilize the region. Such actions not only further endanger regional peace but reveal a disturbing willingness to exploit misinformation. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is Pakistan seriously expecting the world to believe that this is a, and their favorite phrase, false flag operation? Just like Pahalgam was false flag, now they will call this also a false flag. General Shivane.
This is absolutely hilarious. It's certainly not professional. It shows the psyche in which Pakistan is being put on a back foot. And it is nothing new. This action and denial cycle is a traditional cycle which were earlier in the terror domain, also in Kargil, and today you see it manifest in Sindoor. So to that extent, I think no one is going to take them seriously. What I want to highlight is the response 2.0 of Pakistan, which we saw today. We need to understand the character of this response. The character of this response is one, that it has been launched not only in the line of control, but also across the international border. Two, if the news is correct and the pilots have been captured, that means they have crossed both the line of control and the international border. Three, what are the means and what were the objective of this attack? The means have essentially been swarms and drones, which have been launched, which is a low-cost, saturation, high-density attacks which they have carried out on our military targets. Now, they need to understand that once we took on this strikes, the first strike that we launched post Pahalgam on the Pakistan terror camps, we were fully prepared. Our integrated defense, air defense system, which continues to have point AD, short range AD, medium range AD, and long range AD. All these are integrated with the command and control and radar systems, and given the depth of Pakistan, we can pick them up well in advance to foil their attempts. And that's what we have done. So we were fully prepared for this reception, and we have given them a befitting reply by neutralizing their threats. Now, coming on, that if we have foiled their attempts, we have now gone and hit them in their guts. We have gone and hit them in Sialkot, Islamabad, Rawalpindi, and all this base. So what is the aim? First aim is to hit them hard in these bases from which they're launching their attacks, and also the aircrafts and missiles, and act as a deterrent. More importantly, we are now prepared for the next level of escalation by way of we are now trying to gain a superiority in the air domain, a favorable air situation. So if the next level of escalation comes, for which all our forces on ground, boats, tanks, tracks, everything is on ground with particular plans, with very focused agenda, and a very clear force application matrix.
And this particular statement is even more surprising given the fact that now we can tell you what sources have reliably told News9, that there is a Pakistani pilot who is in our custody. How did this man come into Indian territory? You're saying we did absolutely nothing, but your gentleman pilot was in Jaisalmer. So Pakistan tried this, they got a bloody nose. You've got more information. Over to you, Kabir. What more do
Absolutely.
we
I
know?
mean, the last paragraph of that foreign ministry statement is the richest of them all. They say Pakistan remains vigilant and firmly committed to peace. When just a fortnight ago, you had Khwaja Asif, the defense minister of Pakistan, coming here and saying that for the last 30 years, for the last 3 decades, we've been doing the dirty work for the West, and that export as terror quite clearly out for everybody. Now, Pakistani pilot has been captured. That's what News9 is telling to all our viewers at this point in time, and this is the latest information that we're tracking for our viewers, that these drones have been intercepted and the pilot has been captured. Pakistan attempting drone attacks along the western border. We showed you exactly where all, from Jammu and Kashmir right down to Punjab, then of course Barmer, and you had Jaisalmer in Rajasthan as well. But then again, these Pak drone attacks, they took place at multiple points on the western front. Again, what we pointed out and showed to you, and we've gone through with our counter attack over there as well. All of these Pak drones, mind you, all of these Pak drones, they were engaged by the Indian defense system. We just had Air Marshal Chaudhary tell us the long arm, the medium arm, and the small arm of it all. And whilst we're telling you about all of this, let's also tell you that one Pakistani pilot is in India's custody, and which is when Pakistan's foreign ministry has released that statement saying that this is all hoax, Pakistan did not attack. Clearly goes on to show that the Pakistani ministry, foreign ministry, and the army can't see each other eye to eye. There are no parlays that are happening over there. They're working in their different silos, and that's why they don't know
No,
what the
actually,
army is up
Kabir, it shows an attempt at obfuscation, because it is almost like Pakistan's familiar tactic. If we shut our eyes, then the world can't see us. It's almost as if they think that the world is blind to what is happening, but just in case that does happen, even as we speak, India's External Affairs Minister is dialing every world leader. He's spoken to Mark Rubio earlier. He is speaking to other heads of state, foreign ministers across countries, across the world, and the message is clear: we reserve the right to respond to this kind of unprovoked aggression. But okay, so this map, very, very significant. You've got an entirely empty airspace above Pakistan. They have shut their airspace and there is absolutely no movement there. But Wing Commander Praful Bakshi, the big story of the day is that you have a Pakistani pilot in your custody. What happens next? The Geneva Convention applies to him. What will India be doing next, in your experience?
Absolutely right, ma'am. The pilot is, first thing, of course, let's get his name and all. Nothing is wrong in getting his name. His name can be given. But once having confirmed the pilot is there, International Committee of Red Cross will approach Indian government and tell the government that the pilot is there. They will register the pilot in their register and make sure that he's become the POW. And from time to time, they'll keep visiting him. That is for sure, because India has ratified the Geneva Convention in 1961, they signed in 1951. Whatever the case may be, the pilot will be safe, because
Okay.
Indian government, 93,000 soldiers were there. In fact, I had gone and seen General Niazi in Jabalpur. So absolutely the thing, we look after them very well, he'll be looked after. But question is, thereafter what? What are we thinking the war is going to be? We have all spelled out that yes, boots will be on the ground and all, which I have been saying it, that until you get the boots on the ground, nothing translates.